There are the boys packing up for the last time this season as Norwich City's 2017-18 season comes to an end. What you probably describe as a crashing end here at Hillsborough, where Norwich have been done 5-1 against Sheffield Wednesday. By my reckoning, that is 23 goals conceded here in their last 8 visits. All of them, of course, winless. So let's be honest, this isn't the happiest hunting ground for Norwich City. And Sheffield Wednesday, much like Norwich were buoyed at Carrow Road last week, that's what Sheffield Wednesday got to experience this time around. And I guess, you know, that's probably why it would have been nice for Norwich to finish the season at our home. And if I'm being entirely honest, I kind of saw this result coming. I think after the Lord Mayor's show, it shouldn't work out like that, but humans will be humans, and as a collective, Norwich were clearly way short in terms of motivation and concentration today in a lot of their performance, as these stewards all say goodbye to Hillsborough for the season. Norwich, and Daniel Farke said it himself, a lot of the build-up play, a lot of the movement at times was good, but boy, Norwich just don't half make football look really difficult in terms of scoring goals, yet they gift on a plate basically all of Sheffield Wednesday's goals today. Number 2 coming from a Christoph Zimmermann back pass, which, as Tim Closer said to me, underlines you forget, you need to remember where these players have come from, which is fine, but likewise we're a season in, and if we're relying on players, then they need to be able to compete at this level next year, because the ones who are at a level that can take Norwich above where they are, they're going to leave or be sold, or they might not sustain the form for so long. So other players will have to step up, and I'm not digging out Christoph Zimmermann here. He's had some fantastic performances this season, really likeable guy, and he'll be really important in terms of how he develops, but on a day like today it becomes a really difficult point, and a point that will get expanded as Norwich try and work out how their future works from here on in without parachute payments. Which kind of takes us on to the other real big point today, which is of course James Maddison. He went off after 11 minutes, I think it was, with a knee injury. We weren't sure what it was at the time, but it was some contact, so that makes me think maybe he's twisted it. It wasn't one of those where he went down without anyone near him. But likewise, he doesn't feel happy in his knee at all. He came onto the pitch to say thank you to the fans for the season on crutches and in a brace. The scans are going to come in the next couple of days, and if I was there's an element, of course, that James Maddison will possibly hang around the club if he's out for a period of time, because they can't possibly sell him in the window. But and it's all I've been saying for the last few weeks, just strip it back. Norwich City have got a probably 15, 18, whichever £1 million hole to make up this summer, because they will have no more parachute payments. I would imagine a significant proportion of that, and whatever they wanted to do in the summer, was going to come down to selling James Maddison for a pretty healthy pot of money. If they can't do that, I'm not entirely sure what plan B is, and I would imagine that probably there are a few people at Carrow Road who are not entirely sure what plan B is. Hugely important what happens from here, of course, in terms of things well beyond James Maddison, who has earned another chance above the club, and I'm sure that those in power at Carrow Road will be working out what they are going to do. But crumbs, what a terrible last day of the season in terms of, if you were to probably tick 2 or 3 things in terms of please don't let these happen, they pretty much did. I'm not going to pick the bones out of the performance necessarily. There were some really abject performances. We got to see Nelson Oliveira and Josh Murphy send their shots sort of curling over, as they have tended to do at times this year. At 2-0 down at half-time, Nelson Oliveira missed a wonderful chance with his head just into the second half. He scores that, maybe things change slightly. Fair play to the Norwich City fans. There were a fair number of them here. They stuck it out to the end and were still singing. I think probably a lot of people would have travelled here anticipating what they might get. So really difficult elements of the performance. We don't know who's going to stay or go. We'll still be here next year, of course, and we've got a whole summer to discuss all those sort of bits and bobs, but there are definite elements of how Norwich have to. I think the worrying thing about this was a slight regression to the pretty football, but so poor in both boxes, and Norwich cannot afford to have that happen next year. Everyone claims and wants this to be a transition season. Tim Closer said it himself to me after the game, which is fine, but that automatically means people expect to see a massive, or a certainly significant improvement. They don't want to see the same mistakes next season. If Norwich have got to gel, sell players, sell the better players, and bring together a squad, that is a task that they'll need to get right, because if they don't, and again it was on the live coverage on PinkUn.com all throughout the game, they will come under pressure quite early next year, because they won't be given, from a lot of fans, the same acceptance of the transition. It will be a case of, okay, we've had the transition, we've done that bit, this is now about the progression, and that is going to have to be on show, and that is going to put the pressure on from the start of next season, which means that, you know, it's going to be a very interesting time at Norwich City. The worst bit, of course, is that now Norwich City fans, the players, the coaching staff, everyone at Carrow Road is going to have to sit on a 5-1 hammering here at Hillsborough before any more competitive football comes along. There's not really much more to say about that, is it? We've been here and there all season. We know how things have gone. It is what it is. What happens will happen. And we'll do our best, of course, to analyse it, put our opinions forward and tell you like it is. PinkUn.com. All through the summer, there won't be any football, but there will, of course, be a lot of discussion, debate and opinion to digest. May even get the odd day off if we're lucky. Hopefully it won't be every day of the summer, but we'll see. And of course, you know where to go for all of that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching these all season, from myself, but of course from Dave, from Chris Lakey, Paddy Davitt, all of us throughout the summer, throughout the season. And we'll be around all summer to keep you in touch with what's going on. And I guess first port of call, James Maddison's knee.